The stories you've never heard.
Who did Suse famously slap?
The jokes behind the jokes.
What would happen if I did a great big fart?
For the first time ever on Ash, Lachie, and Suse O'Neill.
That Chando just peed a pants.
We go behind the laughter.
Hello, welcome. It's the Producers Podcast. We're halfway through the week, 10:10 on a Wednesday morning. It's Nick, joined by, well, I guess because Alicia's overseas right now, Next Soldier Up Mentality Executive Producer Lachie. Yes!
Thank you. I don't know whether legally I can call myself an executive producer, but I am not an assistant producer this week because there's no one to assist. So I'll call myself a producer. Let's.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll call you Producer Lachie, as I did in one of our social posts today.
Thank you.
How has the first 3 days been? You know, back in the big chair. It's not the first time you've done it by any means, but what changes when you step from one booth to another? What responsibilities do you have to take on?
Well, one thing is you can actually see the show now. You can see.
You got line of sight, don't you?
You have a line of sight, at least in our studios. For some reason, the booth that I usually sit in, you can't see anything at all. So it's nice to actually see the show. Nice to make eye contact with Suse when she's presenting a piece of content, and you go, "Hey, you got this," or
"You're doing great, sweetie,"
or she says something and you go, "What did you just say?" And everyone kind of has that collective laughter, which is a good fun. I enjoy that. It's not necessarily laughter that happens on the mic. It's generally she might wheel away from the microphone and we'll giggle to herself out here, and then we'll come back and be very professional. So
very good.
Those little behind-the-scenes moments that you
really
get to enjoy that you don't get to enjoy when you can't see them.
And that's why we have the forum to really explain those very well. So we've got a couple of shows left. The guys will be going on break after Friday.
Yep.
And everyone just gets reset, relax. I get to really stir up some social content, see what else is out there, what's making moves around the world, and how I can adapt it to our show.
Yep.
It's been, I'll say, a loose week on the tools, but
you had Lachie directing you today.
I did have Lachie directing me today. Then I found out I had Ash direct me afterwards.
Yes.
But as I said, I'm always happy to take advice on board and suggestions. But I will do them my own way. And I think Lachie learned very quickly that if you give me directions, I will. This is what I said to him on air. This won't end well for you. And it could have ended a lot worse, but I'm happy with the course that I took. So, look, again, by the way, thank you to all our social fans who are really getting around Mean Dump Monday. It's back. It's in full swing. And this time it'll stick around. I did a test run a little while back, but I think it's starting to work.
I like that we're starting something just as the show is wrapping up for, it's only a week off, I will say, but the idea that you launch something just before going into a break breaks all radio conventions and other radio rules.
Well, you know me, Lachie, I'm all about just throwing out the rules of radio, all those invisible rules that we sign up for. I don't care for them.
No,
so
I can tell.
Gotta break the rules, man. But speaking of breaking the rules, well, not breaking the rules, she's on leave right now. Alicia, doing a very good job in, I guess now able to write off her holiday on tax, I assume.
Well, that's
after doing a cross from Chicago for us this morning.
I did say that to her just right beforehand because thankfully, we've had lots.
Where's the show? We sent her over to cover the Avril gig.
Yeah, it's a massive gig happening in Chicago. No. When Lachie's previously done the show from LA, the States, it actually lines up fairly well with, I guess, breakfast radio hours in Brisbane.
It does, actually. It's a good time zone for us.
It's not outrageous. It's not like we're asking her to wake up in early hours of the morning. So every morning, I actually have, I've seen Alicia online on Messenger or whatever, and so you go, oh, okay, she's active right now.
She's up and about, posted 27 minutes ago. I'm like, oh, I can actually talk to her right now.
And obviously I've exercised, she's exercised her right to disconnect, which is important. But
she just chooses to connect.
But she is choosing to connect. She was sending me content yesterday. I'm like, dude, what are you doing? You're on holiday.
Yeah, but also she's bored in line. So,
oh yeah.
And as we know, it's a second-rate city. So
well,
got to amuse yourself somehow.
That is true as well. And so when I said to her, hey, the guys want to chat to you on air, she was like, sorry, what? I was like, yeah, they want to chat to you about the
She's
gig.
like, they don't normally chat to me on air.
Yeah. She's like, why do they want to talk about this? And I said, hey, look, don't take this as tax advice from me. If the tax office are listening, obviously this is not official advice, but I'm fairly certain you can write this off in tax now.
100%. No, well, we sent her to cover it. That's
exactly.
The thing.
So
we said, look, Avril's not bringing the tour to Australia. It's incredible. It's been 20 years since Skater Boy, so we may as well, when it appeared on So Fresh Hits of Autumn, we may as well send you over there to really get a vibe. How's Avril doing? Is she still alive? And the fact that Suncorp Stadium didn't get the gig, I was devastated about. So, I can see your eyes are out the window because
so
I know.
I'm
I know
distracted.
you are. I know you are.
I don't know whether you can't see. You don't have line of sight out the window at the moment. There is literally an infant that is being carried by, I'm assuming, their mother. We've had so many people walking through the office. We've had the Amplify conference.
Yeah,
you might have heard advertised before one of these podcasts.
Well, sales gets younger and younger every year, so fair enough.
That's true. I mean, if you're not hustling in the kindergartens and in the nurseries, then what are you doing?
Absolutely right. You got to start advertising your brand, and if you want to advertise your brand, well, there's no better place than Nova.
Exactly. So you might have heard about this Amplify conference that we've been hosting at Nova. We've had lots of businesses, lots of clients coming through the last couple of days. And I do feel a little bit, especially, not during the show, because at least yesterday it started at 10 o'clock. But yesterday I was doing work at my desk, and I felt a little bit like an animal in a zoo.
A little bit.
Just waving at people as they came
Honestly,
past.
this must be how these guys feel when prospective clients are coming through, or sales. Every now and then, sales will take like a new client through, show them the studio, show them the live setup, what's happening here, and. But yeah, I understand that. They must feel like very, very watched.
As we started this very podcast right now, we had someone stepping into the booth where I was sitting today, like let themselves into the booth. Not that there was anything playing in there.
Did you get defensive?
Well, I was
that your sacred space now?
I was a little bit like, what are you doing here? And then we had people in the Matty Rose studio kind of watching on to see what was happening in this studio. Now,
the Matty Rowe Memorial Studio.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, this studio, you and I are both sitting in here, but it's not really that interesting. So I don't know what they were talking about, but obviously
it's quirky. I mean,
for those who don't get to, I guess, see what a radio studio looks like, it is fascinating. But I think for you and I, maybe it's lost a little bit of the magic.
Oh, absolutely. But also, this is very, because this is an old studio per se. This has been the same studio for 20 years. So it got reupholstered a few years ago. But it's just, honestly, it's just an eclectic mix of knickknacks and whatnots. And honestly, it's very, the guys, to their credit, have made this a very personable thing. This is like, it's kind of like a college dorm in the way that they've just, you know what? We're going to make the best of our situation here. Like, I've worked in other buildings where they have very, very corporate style. You can adapt the whole place to whatever whatever's being broadcast out of there.
You press a button and the screens all change,
colours change,
and the colours change in it. Yeah.
But there's no life and personality in there. There's a real Paddy Carrigan cutout. We've got Rocco Zakarsky's basketball jersey up there.
Yeah.
Ash, I don't think even Ash knows what he's got sitting behind his desk. But
no.
Yeah, it's a very nice place. Sales is giving us away. Hello, Mandy. Hello. G'day, guys. But no,
smile and wave, boys. Smile and wave.
Honestly, if I can work more penguins in Madagascar into Memed Up Monday, like it's a very rich area there.
That would be a very niche meme, only for the people, I guess, who know that.
I believe it transcends.
But it is interesting because we did have someone coming in last week to use this very studio, JMO, and I forget who was co-hosting the show with JMO the other night. Sam Frost. Sam Frost.
Frost.
Yes. They were confidential Sunday nights on Nova.
Oh, we'll get around them.
And they were pre-recording their show for Sunday night. It's not live.
They usually guys do it live. It was just a certain emergency, guys.
Anyway, they were pre-recording the show, and JMO walks in and goes, "This is a breakfast studio."
Oh yeah.
And he was looking around, going, "There is just stuff everywhere." And in my mind, I was like, "Is there really stuff everywhere?" And then I kind of looked at it with fresh eyes. I was like imagining myself walking into this room for the first time, and I was like, actually, there really is. There is stuff all around this studio.
Oh, it's borderline a fire hazard. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah, but I guess that's just what makes our guys tick.
It's eclectic. It's them. It's really who we are, and I like that. I respect that. Lachie, I want to get to Throwback Throwdown today. It's 2014, so it's really kind of in our hitting zone. I would say.
Yeah.
I'm 21, turning 22 that year, which puts you're late teens there. You're probably coming towards the end of high school, I'd say.
Yeah, I would have been grade 11.
Also,
2014.
So you're at that age where you're really starting to feel the music. You're trying to establish your musical identity.
Yeah, I'll be honest. 2014, not a good year, at least for music in my mind.
No, I think it dropped off as well. I think 2011 to 13 is a lot stronger. We're in a transitional phase in 2014.
Do you know what I don't like about it? It feels like there's just lots of songs that are like written because we need music, as opposed to we're writing these songs because we liked it.
I agree.
And here's an example that I think you'll definitely get on board with.
I know Buzz brought this up on the show, and to any long-term listeners of the Producers Podcast, you'll know how I feel about this. But just to back over this one more time, my hatred for this song is threefold. One, Minions, just in general. Despicable Me. Just can't. I just can't.
Can I get some clarification? Will we ever see Minions in Meme Dump Monday?
Ironically, yes, that is our target audience. School mums who love that, but also I don't want to. Two is I don't like any song that instructs you to be happy. So
yeah, but it's not instructing you to be happy. It's saying because I'm happy.
Okay,
Pharrell's just happy.
It's deliberately trying to put out a happy vibe.
Yeah, I
It's
know what you're
like
saying.
it feels preachy. It's the same reason why I don't like Bob Marley's like "Don't Worry, Be Happy." Any song like that, I really hate. It goes with but also songs that I know that were manufactured for movies, like
sure.
Justin Timberlake, the one he had in Trolls.
Can't Stop the Feeling.
Can't Stop the Feeling. Hate that. I love Justin Timberlake. I hate that song.
Can I ask you, how do you feel about songs where it tells you to say a certain word?
Ooh, give me an example.
So say
That'll do, mate. Yep. Same thing. It's it's a well-written pop song, but it is, you know what the intention was, that it could be used 100 different times. I mean, look, we are commercial media, so I understand the hand that feeds me, but yes, this falls in the same category. My third thing, and this is an investigation that I will always stay on. This is a case I'll never let run cold. That following the disaster that was Robin Thicke's Blurred Lines, there are 3 culprits in that. Robin Thicke, who copped all the brunt, pretty much lost his career over I guess him selling his voice to get another shot at fame. T.I. copped it.
Yep.
He had a verse in that. But Pharrell was behind that song. Pharrell wrote that. Pharrell did the hook. That's why it was so catchy. And then the Marvin Gaye estate claim came after that. But Pharrell walked away with his big-ass hat, and the next song that he wrote, Happy. And all of a sudden, Pharrell's a hero. Pharrell walked away from that explosion. Now, don't get me wrong.
This sounds personal, Nick.
Well, I mean, look, I still remember at the time, and again, this is a different era. I thought, oh god, this song is catchy as hell. How good's this? It's the first time we were introduced to Emily Ratajkowski. And then, obviously, as times rightly changed, I'm like, oh, this is actually quite troubling. The song was just really catchy. Of course, it was a Marvin Gaye hook, which is the reason we loved it so much. But
sure.
I have a really bad history of topical Halloween costumes that I've worn that have not aged well. Not enough to get me cancelled, but not aged well. 2013, I went to a Halloween party dressed as Robin Thicke in the Beetlejuice VMAs suit.
Oh, Nick.
Yeah,
that's
it's
not okay.
Yeah, the years following that, as a police officer, again, not great. And 2015, Jared Hayne, again, not great. So, yeah, it's a bad run. But anyway, that is my threefold hatred for that song. But going back to 2014.
Well. Once again, here's another song that I've discovered. Tells you to do something or to feel a certain way.
This was catchy.
Maybe not directly.
I also thought it was the baker's gonna bake, which is not wrong, but this was... Yeah, I think now we can group these songs together. There's a theme of directive, catchy hooks. It was a weak year for music.
Yeah, another one that, once again, don't resonate with.
Because I'm all about that bass.
Yeah.
About that bass.
Again.
No trouble.
All right, we're still in fun pop, and granted, I miss fun pop, but this is at the point where we kind of were trying a bit too hard. Everyone wanted to have something catchy. Like again, this is Meghan Trainor being edgy, which she isn't. Yeah.
This is how I feel, I guess, to summarize everything.
What was this? Yep.
I'm done with it.
Well, the Madden brothers were essentially done with it at this point as well.
Yeah.
They'd squeezed all the juice, and I remember I love Good Charlotte. I had their albums on tape. I love Good Charlotte, and Buzz can speak to that
Lifestyles of
too.
the Rich and the Famous.
Yeah, that was the one. That was the album. I had that on cassette tape.
Yeah, incredible. That's a great album. Coming back as the Madden brothers and not Good Charlotte, not their best career move. But I think aligned with, and this is something that I'm sure actually is a thing, when artists go on The Voice as judges.
Yep.
Generally, it's well timed with a single release.
Of course it is.
So I think this is one of their kind of songs where they go, hey, we're going to release a single.
This will carry it.
This will carry it. And that was their appearance, I guess, on The Voice in 2014.
Going through very quickly the selections made by our guys who raked through the coals of this year.
Well,
not a bad year, but just
No.
you can see where music was going at this point.
Well, yeah. Look, I'll take the reins here because Buzz went this song, which you and I once again not passionate about.
Look, when this song came out, it was amazing. It was truly incredible. I still remember the moment I first heard it on the radio. I was likely listening to Nova, driving through St. Lucia, and I just remember it's one of those moments where it was a turn up the radio and go, what is this? Bruno Mars was on a hot run at this point, and Mark Ronson's an incredible producer, so this was a very cleverly written song, and I mean, the fact that it's still sort of on Nova's rotation today it's got a lot of life.
Oh, don't get me wrong. When I hear it on Nova, I'm in a great mood.
Yeah.
But do I think it's a great Throwback Throwdown selection? It's not one that I.
It was an obvious choice by Buzz.
Yeah. We've had then Lachie picking the other Taylor Swift song.
Cherry lips, crystal skies, I could show you.
The better of the two.
This was a turning point for Taylor.
This was off the 1989 album, and this 1989 I think is arguably one of her best, top 3. Some would say it's her best album.
This is where we started to see maturity from Taylor.
And honestly, I think that's probably the best pop album of that year. Like, it was an incredible album.
Yeah.
Welcome to New York. There was a bunch of other. I could talk for hours.
This is the first time we saw self-awareness from Taylor, and I really respected that.
We then had Ash. Did he go for Sia?
He did go for Sia. He pinched it off Suse. He went, and again, this was a massive song, and this is Ash playing the Australian card. Now, what I'm loving from everyone this week is I've seen, at least I can point to the strategy that they went with. So Ash went the Australian card, because he was going to go that or Iggy Azalea out of Mullumbimby. Lachie went for Taylor Swift, who he knows polls well.
Yep.
Buzz went for one of the biggest songs of the year.
And then Suse went for another song. Before we get to Suse, I want to quickly say, if you've got some time on your hands, and I talked to you a little bit about this earlier this week, Nick. I was a part of an a cappella band at one point in my life.
I love that you openly declared that information. You could have kept that secret for a long time.
And I could have.
But it speaks so much to your character that if it has anything to do with music and you performing, you do work it in.
No, but I don't look favorably upon that era of my life.
What were you called? What was the group called? Come on.
I'm not going to say.
Come on.
It's okay.
Okay. You don't have to tell me, but I'm going to try and work this out. Otherwise, I'll go and find out. But please tell me at least it was some cheesy musical pun.
I shouldn't have added you on Facebook. That was a mistake. Anyway.
Why would you tell me that information?
Anyway, so if you go on YouTube, there's an incredible cover by an a cappella band of Sia's Chandelier. Like, it honestly, goosebumps.
Sia's a good writer.
They do it, the song justice, and it's like, you think a cappella. One thing I hate about a cappella is that quite often they try and replicate the song.
Excuse me? No, sorry.
They try and replicate the song as best as possible.
Yeah.
They don't do that. They change, I guess,
I respect that.
I guess the
look, we
the
just
genre of the song.
unfortunately reached, like, a cappella was always around. Obviously, Pitch Perfect made it go nuts, and then unfortunately we kind of reached critical mass.
Honestly, around 2014, it would have been.
It did incredible things for awareness of a cappella, but also by the end,
Speaking of movies and songs from movies, this is something that I actually want to get everyone's support behind.
Now, this is interesting
because I don't think this song has ever been played in full-on Nova.
No, neither.
And I think that if there's one song, even if you're not really a massive fan of the song, vote for it, because I'd love to, just for the bit.
Yep, 100%.
Would love to hear this
100%.
song played in full tomorrow at 7:50.
Let it go, let it go.
Lachie, you've absolutely hit the nail on the head there, because this... I mean, look, we all have interpretations of what this game is, what Throwback Throwdown is. It is the opportunity to hear a song that we would not normally play.
Yep.
That we've either forgotten about a long time ago. That's all right, the hook's... We know where
that cuts
every single parent that is listening to that is just somehow has that line still, like, it carried on in their minds. Like, nothing's actually changed. They can still hear the song right now. So, but yeah, look, that's a dichotomy of this, that, there may be parents who go, please, I can't hear this again. But what I will say is, there is such a, like, if I was in it, I would be picking novelty songs. And if Suse could have got on the bandwagon, the soapbox there, and gone, you know what? We have the opportunity right now to play this Disney song on Nova. We break the rules of programming. We break the set list. Why would you go for something that we're going to probably hear anyway in the next 24 to 48 hours when you have the opportunity to hear this right now? Glorious and triumphant in the car. Think Rebecca Welton singing it in Ted Lasso.
Yeah.
Think Joe Danaher after a goal at the Gabba. Here's an opportunity to play this song. But you didn't sell it right.
No, and I mean that's a great sell right there. Look, Let It Go, not my favorite song from Frozen, but I would happily vote for that song. And
Well, Lachie, I'm going to vote for that song.
Oh,
I'm allowed to vote.
And go vote for that song. And I would love even if you're not a massive fan, you can just turn the radio down for 3 minutes. You don't actually have to listen.
Oh yeah.
But just the idea that we're going to play Let It Go on Nova tomorrow is funny to me.
Power's in your hands. Head
And-
to the Ash Lutzi and Susie socials right now.
And, you know,
on Instagram story for those people who keep asking, how do I vote? I'm like, just go to the story.
Time of recording, it's in last place. I'm fairly certain.
It's on equal last.
Okay, so it would require a little bit of a comeback. But if you're listening to this right now, if you haven't voted, please, just for the
We need a more than a 50% swing.
just for the joke.
Just for the joke, absolutely.
Just for the joke.
You got the power in your hands here, Brisbane. You can do this. Also, not just Brisbane. This power, you can vote from wherever you are in the world.
Exactly. That's the beauty of Throwback Throwdown.
Oh, that's the thing. Oh, I'll tell you what. You know how Buzz has like the Yummy Mummies of Upper Logan?
Mm-hmm.
Do you reckon we could somehow like 2016 Facebook style like influence like Russia or something like that to really like stack our voting?
I reckon. Yeah, I reckon you could do that.
If I could,
do you have time today to I guess convince Vladimir?
No, I've got a silly Saturday costume I've got to go and buy.
Oh, okay. Please, is it a questionable costume?
I don't think Ric Flair's going to get cancelled,
Yeah, okay.
but he's always sat on the borderline.
Yeah, fair enough.
It's just an opportunity to say woo for as long as possible.
Righto. Hey, coming up on tomorrow's show.
Yeah, buddy.
Molly O'Callaghan.
Okay.
We had her on the show.
We did.
Unintentionally, I guess, last week when the team were talking about sunscreen and being, I guess, sun safe and looking after their skin. And Molly and her mum were just listening in the car.
That's so cute. That's
And
the cutest thing.
her mum just said, hey, I think you should call in. And so Alicia took the call. She's kind of writing, oh, Molly from whatever suburb she was calling from. And her mum goes, it's Molly O'Callaghan. And, bless Alicia. She didn't know who she was.
That's okay. Again,
Because I mean, yes, Molly did just win,
multiple gold medals.
multiple gold medals at the Olympics. Alicia, I think we established, isn't the most across the Olympics on this show, definitely. And was just a little bit like, oh, who's that? So she's Googled. And as she's Googled, I could see from my booth, her face kind of line up to go, oh my goodness.
We got a swimmer. We got a live one.
We have a live one here. So we're going to get her back on the show, maybe to talk about skincare, probably more so to talk about...
Well, we didn't actually, and that's what I love about that chat the other day about skincare, is that we did not even talk about the Olympics.
Yeah.
So, it's pretty impressive. And fair enough, we owe it to her. She's a Queenslander. She's gone head-to-head with Arnie Titmus, and truly incredible. And Lachie just very, when, I don't know if you saw my reaction when you announced that she was coming in.
Mm.
You have the smallest crush on Molly. Just
Really?
I don't know. Just like...
She seems like a sweetie.
She's an absolute sweetie. And I was like, oh, how good. But I was like,
Okay, well, I'll keep that between you and I and the wonderful listeners.
Non defeat JM.
podcast.
Non defeat JM.
And then we're sending Mitch back out on the street this week.
Okay, yeah.
for Rackley.
Okay, I'm gonna come to your defense and support here, Lachie.
Thank you.
And I'm sorry that for the first time I didn't. I should have jumped in, and I apologise for that.
That's okay.
The second time, I unfortunately was in the bathroom, so I couldn't. But I did text Buzz as they were having a go at your clues again. I said, these clues make perfect sense. I understand them completely.
And you know what? Look, I get the criticism that we're not giving away $1 million here. They don't have to be so convoluted. But in the last 3 weeks, we have done 2 very similar promos with Mitch on the street that involve writing 3 clues every single day, kind of zeroing in on the location.
I don't envy the role. I don't envy what you have to do.
Look, I'm not complaining about my job, but I would challenge you to write 3 engaging clues that, if possible, align with, I guess, the client as well. Because, we did BCF and the clues for BCF all start with B, C, and F.
It's very good. You've been very clever of late. And that's the thing. Like you're on another level of thinking here, Lachie, and it's going over their heads.
And so then today, look, I know the Jindalee pool. That's my local public pool. And so I was like, okay, well, there's an obvious thing in West Side, Wet Side.
Yeah, and that was a great pun.
And then
Also, I could hear it in your voice because the way you say more like wet side.
Yeah, yeah.
I heard that as
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, thank you. There is a little bit of like a more like wet side, like
No, that's exactly how I deliver it. I haven't got my Lachie perfect yet.
a self like we know this sounds dumb, but just roll with us on this. The second one, I was like, okay, I need to try and come up with 2 more clues that kind of point to the direction of this place without giving it away necessarily. And look, maybe I was too obscure with the Australia's Cheapest Weddings hint because the Gingerly Bowls Club features, it's right across the road.
That's a reference that you and I both know.
It is. And look, I think the people of the western suburbs also understand that that's a reference that they get. Obviously, Tim from Indooroopilly, who went and found Mitch, was very much on top of it. And then the last one, I was like, I probably should tie this back to the water thing. And they're called the Centenary or the Gingerly Dolphins or whatever. Now, because Suse is here and she is an Australian dolphin, it's what happens when you have mascots of the same name representing Australia and then a local swimming pool. When I said you'll find plenty of dolphins there, she's like, no, you won't. There's no one representing Australia who swims at that pool. I was like, no, but they're called the Centenary Dolphins. Just Google it.
Yeah.
So that's okay. Onwards and upwards.
So Lockie's advice is take those keywords and Google them, and you'll probably find out the location. But I want to say, and this is, I mean, they worked it out eventually, but I reckon I got it like 45 minutes before they did, that you referring to Wetside in Jindalee, I didn't know it was Jindalee, but when you said that, I go, there was a Amazon's, the old water park from back in the day. And I don't think you even meant that at the time.
No, didn't. That, I'll be honest, wasn't intentional. But yes, there used to be where the skate. If you're familiar with the western suburbs of Brisbane, there's a skate park at Jindalee right next to where the DFO is. There's a DFO there now, and that used to be back in, I want to say, the 80s or 90s before I was born. There was a water park there, a bunch of slides. I guess like a kind of lame equivalent of Wet and Wild, and I believe it had to close down because someone died.
Oh,
yeah. So, what a sad ending to that.
Wow.
Yeah.
I think we can leave the podcast there now. We've got, we've managed to get Let It Go up to 19%. So,
let's
rising.
go. Let it go.
Let it go.
Also, Lachie Neal on Friday ahead of the bumper game down in Sydney, Greater Western Sydney against the Lions.
Is he coming in?
No, sorry. So you might have to try and send him a text message or get in contact.
I'll just jump on the phone beforehand. I'll come into you both.
Sounds good. That's going to be the show for the rest of the week, and then we get a week off. But don't worry, we'll check in with you on Friday.
Yeah, we'll do a previous podcast with a break. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I'm not sure if I'll be able to do it during the break.
Oh well, I'll just hold it down. We'll do a retrospective. Where are they now?
That's true. I won't be here during the break. I'll be in another city.
And you've earned some time. Oh, but let's keep that a secret mission.
Yeah. Okay.
Sounds a secret mission.
Well, that'll be it for today's Producer Podcast, and we'll catch you next time.
See ya.